Aquarius, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of December. This is such a hectic time. We are in eclipse season. It's the final month of the year. Eclipses are a very harried and hectic time. They can bring major change. They do bring in major change. They're meant to wake us up and shake us up, much like Uranus, which is the modern ruler of your sign and the great awakener of the zodiac. We are in the new age of Aquarius, and your sign is equated with brilliance and chaos and unpredictability. And you can say the same for eclipses. Eclipses can be very jarring. They can raise your anxiety. They can feel very pressured, and a lot happens in a very short period of time. On November 19th, there was a partial lunar eclipse at 27 degrees and 14 minutes of the fixed earth sign of Taurus, and this fell in your house of home and family and real estate. And that eclipse was the biggest lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse, in 1,000 years. And I witnessed so much loss with my friends and clients during that time, right around the 19th of November. And this lunar eclipse for you did fall in your house of real estate, home, and family. Whether there's a lot of change there or loss, we are in uncharted time in history, and realistically we're collectively dealing with so much loss. And this lunar eclipse was a big one, and for you in a very significant area of your chart, your emotional foundation, home, family. Again, eclipses can bring breakups, they can bring endings, they can bring major beginnings as well, but that lunar eclipse brought a lot of endings. And I do sometimes see major beginnings with lunar eclipse and endings with solar eclipse. One begets the other, but it was a lot of loss during that time, and we're all reconciling this energy. And as we begin the month of December, a few things to bear in mind. We're still in eclipse season, building up to a total solar eclipse in Sagittarius that occurs on December 3rd or December 4th, depending on where you live. And that's going to bring in a lot of energy as well, and a lot of activity. And Venus, which is the planet of love and value and money and relationships, stations retrograde on December 19th at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. And this falls in your house of endings and spirituality and dreams and the unconscious mind. And Venus will be retrograde until January 29th, when it stations direct at 11 degrees and 4 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. And for you, there may be many memories, or maybe people that have passed over return to you in some way. There may be people from your past that you have parted ways with that perhaps you reconnect with. It's a great time to diving into your imagination and seeing how you can be more effective at building your dream in this new age of Aquarius, because it's the house of dreams, and Capricorn is a very goal-oriented sign. So working hard to structure, and perhaps also finding a way, because the 12th house is a very, and that's where this is going to be transiting for you, it's a very creative house too, a very intuitive and good for working with your imagination. So seeing how you can be more creative, and also doing some healing work, because it's a very spiritual house. So you're working with that energy, and Venus will be there for 4 months in total, from November 5th when it entered until March 6th of 2022. So December 1st, Neptune stations direct at 8:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We felt the fog the last 5 days of November. It wasn't only the tryptophan from the turkey, it was definitely the Neptune energy, and we feel it the first 5 days of December. And that is a time where things can seem or feel very hopeless and directionlessness. And Neptune is transiting in your house of money and income and what you value. And once it stations direct, we have another outer planet direct, and that's helpful for moving ahead and getting things going. In September, at the end of September, all of the outer planets were retrograde, and Mercury was as well, so that was a big deal of feeling stuck and held back. On December 3rd or December 4th, depending on where you live, there is a total solar eclipse. It occurs on December 3rd at 11:43 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at 12 degrees and 22 minutes of the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius, and also on December 4th at 2:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Definitely set intentions, do the law of abundance. This new moon eclipse falls in your house of friends and groups and networking, and we are in a time, you're a sign that embraces community and groups and is a very social sign. And for you, this new moon eclipse could bring in new relationships, new friendships, getting involved with the community. If you're single, maybe you need a new romantic partner. It's a lot about networking, and it's the final eclipse in the Sagittarius Gemini axis. They've been hitting in your house of friends and your house of romance and love affairs. So this could bring new beginnings, but the South Node of Karma is transiting in Sagittarius until the middle of January, so there could be something letting go in that process, or issues with friendships that get brought up. Maybe something gets brought to light that you didn't know regarding a friend that you need to figure out. And but tap into the law of abundance, write down intentions. It's a new moon on steroids, and Sagittarius is a very optimistic sign. On December 6th, Mars, which is the planet of action, forms a helpful sextile to Pluto. Mars is transiting in your house of career and life goals, where it's been since October 30th, and it'll be there until December 13th. That can bring in good career opportunities, and Mars and Pluto in harmony can be very effective for getting things done. On December 7th, Mercury forms a square to Neptune at 10:16 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that could bring confusion or deception. Could be issues with your friendships. Maybe something gets uncovered, or there could just be a misunderstanding. Good for doing manifesting work. Maybe you can do manifesting with your friends together communally. And then on later that day, Mars squares Jupiter at 10:21 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on December 8th at 1:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's not negative necessarily, just a lot going on and being very busy. On December 11th, there's much more of a heavy energy. Venus meets up with Pluto at 11:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is the first of 3 pairings, and that's very intense energy emotionally regarding relationships. For you, it's falling in your house of endings and your house of spirituality, and again, there could be some relationships that are ending. There could be loss, and it just also could be very emotionally heavy, and again, a reason for you to really practice in self-care in the next couple of months, and spiritual practice in whatever way that is for you, whether it's manifesting, meditating, praying, doing nature walks, whatever it is for you to quell your mind and to do spiritual practice. But that's a kind of a heavy energy. And, you know, well, not kind of, it's a really heavy energy. I'm feeling a Neptune fog while I'm doing this, but I'm going to keep going. Got to keep going, we all do. And Venus and Pluto is much like that Catherine and Heathcliff energy, very passionate and stormy, and it can be romantic, but it can be very heavy and painful. And likely there will be breakups on that date. Mercury, the planet of communication, forms a helpful sextile to Jupiter at 2:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That could help, but I feel that, you know, later that day the Sun squares Neptune at 10:21 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on December 12th at 1:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. and that could dissolve friendships or relationships or uncover deception. So just being aware of that, it's very heavy. December 13th has more of an optimistic and exuberant energy. Mars enters the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius at 4:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where it will be until January 25th in your house of friends and groups and networking. Great for you if you're trying to promote yourself with business, if you're trying to build contacts, if you have your own business, building your social media, if you're trying to meet new people, if you're looking to date, it's an excellent time for meeting people and perhaps igniting your love life. That solar eclipse that falls there as well could definitely bring in new relationships. So if you're single, there are a lot of opportunities for networking and meeting people with this energy this month as well. That's actually really exciting. This could bring fated meetings and encounters. So for you in particular, that's really exciting with this. And but later that day at 12:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Mercury, which is the planet of communication and information, enters the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn at 12:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be there until January 2nd when it enters your sign, and it's transiting in your house of spirituality and dreams. Very creative energy, good for writing, good for spending time alone to kind of connect to your thoughts. Definitely good for tapping into your imagination and maybe releasing things as well. The 12th house is the house of endings. And in January, Mercury is going to enter your sign on January 2nd. It's going to retrograde in the middle of the month, and then it's going to re-enter the late degrees of Capricorn in your house of spirituality and endings, where it's transiting in the middle of this month, and then it will re-enter your sign on February 14th. So you're working with Mercury going back and forth from your sign to Capricorn and then back again to Aquarius. And so it's a time of reassessing the loss that you've experienced, what you need to release. All of us, even if we haven't lost somebody close to us, have endured loss in many, many different ways. And so honoring that energy, but also Saturn, this is such a huge time for Aquarius, and Saturn is in your sign until March 7th of 2023, really figuring out with Mercury retrograding in your sign how you can make the most of this, because the more you work with this, you can achieve incredible things. Saturn's going to challenge you and test you in the process, but it also rewards you when you work hard. You had Jupiter bringing opportunities and good fortune in this mix-up, in this whole journey, but it's going to leave on December 28th and enter the sign of Pisces. So you only have it a little while longer. So use it to bring beginnings and opportunities and manifest. Remember again that eclipse is a big deal for bringing in your wishes and setting intentions. And so got Mercury and Mars changing signs on the same day. That's an interesting day, a lot happening. Then there is a full moon on December 18th at 11:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in your house of romance and love affairs and creativity. That could bring endings in romance potentially. It could bring fruition and completion on creative projects that you've been working on. It's going to be an emotionally intense day because Mercury squares Chiron, the wounded healer, and Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, so that's going to bring a lot of information for all of us to process emotionally. It's technically the ending of eclipse season, because it's the first lunation after the eclipses, but realistically we're all reeling from those eclipses because they were so big and so impactful. But this full moon happens the day before Venus retrogrades, and it does so on December 19th at, when does it do it? It retrogrades at 5:36 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn in your house of the unconscious mind, dreams, and spirituality. And then it stations direct on January 29th at 11 degrees and 4 minutes of Capricorn. And it'll be in this sector of your chart until March 6th of next year. Really figuring out how you can do healing work, how you can be creative, and how you can express empathy for yourself and others, because it's a very compassionate house as well. It's a house of empathy. And, you know, and we need empathy right now. That's a big deal. But it's also, Venus will be transiting and is transiting in a very goal-oriented and action-oriented sign. So taking steps and measures to get things done, whether it's doing some healing work, getting into therapy, doing meditation or Reiki or something to heal yourself. And Chiron, which is the wounded healer, stations direct at 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 8 degrees and 26 minutes of the cardinal fire sign of Aries. And this occurs in your communication and information. And Chiron has been transiting in Aries since the spring of 2019. And this could bring vulnerability around self and around your own thinking, but it also, and it's definitely pronouncing the wounds, but encouraging you to find strength and courage to heal the wounds. And, you know, that's a big deal. And the sun sextiles Jupiter that day, but it's going to be a very heavy day, and, you know, definitely Chiron and Venus retrograde and the full moon on the day before, Mercury squaring Chiron, pretty heavy energy. On December 20th, there's very innovative energy. Mercury forms a helpful trine to Uranus at oh gosh, I can't remember now, but it happens. And so that's going to be a very innovative at 3:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much. And so it's going to be very innovative thinking and good for thinking on your feet and networking and connecting with others. Could be dealing with your family or real estate in some way. And if you work from home, that could be a good energy as well. On December 21st, we have the winter solstice, and the sun enters the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn, where it will be until January 19th, when we begin Aquarius season, transiting in your house of endings and spirituality. So really, I think grounding yourself through spiritual practice, because a lot of emphasis on release and letting go, but also on creativity and working with your dreams, really working with your dreams. And that's true for the whole Venus transit in Capricorn for you. And then on December 24th, Saturn and Uranus square each other in the sky at 2:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And those are both the rulers of your sign. Saturn rules your sign in ancient astrology, and Uranus is the modern ruler. Saturn represents restrictions, and it's very rigid, and Uranus represents chaos, and it's very futuristic and brilliant, and they don't really blend very well. And it's a learning curve for all of us in this new age of Aquarius, of the unpredictable tone and how we can structure in the chaos. And on December 25th, Mars, which is the planet of action, forms a helpful trine to Chiron, the wounded healer, hopefully helping all of us to have the courage to face the pain and difficulty that we're all experiencing in some way. But on that date, Venus and Pluto meet up for the first of three pairings, or the second of three pairings rather, and they meet up at 7:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you know, it's holiday season, again honoring all the people that aren't with us anymore, unfortunately, all the loved ones that we've lost. And also there can be very emotionally intense energy and breakups of that energy. So just try to, you know, keep balance as much as you can. People are going to be very, very emotional with that energy. And on December 26th, Mercury forms a helpful sextile to Neptune at 4:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's good for working with a dream and manifesting. And then on December 28th, Jupiter, which is the luckiest planet, exits your sign at 11:09 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and enters the mutable water sign of Pisces, where it will be until May 10th in your house of income and money, bringing new financial opportunities, new ways to make money, expanding your finances. And it loves to be in Pisces. It's in its ancient dignity, or it's in its dignity by ancient astrology. But it will enter Aries on May 10th and transit in your house of communication and networking and teaching and learning. And then it will re-enter Pisces on October 28th, where it will be until December 20th. And then it will re-enter Aries and re-enter your house of travel and communication and learning. So it's going to bring great new financial opportunities and good for expanding your values and creativity and finding something of value, because it's really about structuring a new vision for yourself and a new world for yourself with this big cycle that you began last year, with Saturn and Jupiter meeting up at the first degree of your sign on the winter solstice. This is a year into Saturn transiting into your sign, so this is a big deal. And on December 29th, Mercury and Venus meet up at 5:27 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's realistically going to be heavy energy as well, because it's setting off the Pluto energy. And then on the following day, on December 30th, Mercury and Pluto meet up at they meet up in the sky as well. I'm spacing out on times a little bit, but they meet up, and that also is very heavy energy and difficult. 4:54 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that could bring power struggles and arguments. It's good for doing research and getting to the bottom of things, but it's in your house of loss and the unconscious mind. You might be having very intense dreams right now with all of this energy. And on December 30th, the moon enters the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius, and it will be there until January 1st, when it goes void of course with the square to Neptune. And I think that pronounces the energy we're all in the sense that we feel directionless and hopeless, and it's very confusing. And yet Jupiter in Pisces, Jupiter will be newly in the sign of Pisces, is about suspension of disbelief. It's about expanding through your imagination, expanding through your dreams, that anything's possible. And that's a needed energy. So it's showing that we feel hopeless, but we can also really work with the dream. And I think that's the tone of 2022. And the Sun trines Uranus at 4:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's very innovative energy and good for thinking on your feet, and also showing that each of us has the ability to invent and innovate within. So I wish you the best of luck, and Happy New Year, Aquarius. Thank you very much.